If you wanna be my friend, you had better go and get a pen.
Maybe we can keep
Maybe we can keep in touch.
like they did in the old days.
They did in the old days, it wasn't so long ago. And I wish you well. Sign your pen, pals.
I got a mailbox in the front
What is that?
yard.
Is that ska?
Is that ska?
That's a type of music. What is that? What is that? Spoken
Is
word?
that
sounded
that
like a
band
ska
ska?
spoken word.
What are you
It
doing,
felt like-
spoken word right now?
I felt like ska. I got a mailbox in the front yard.
Oh, dude.
Does
you little
ska have to
boss.
have
What?
horns? Does ska have to have horns? Is that
Yes,
like a
yes.
staple?
I don't think it does.
Yes.
Like if it doesn't have horns, it's not
First of
ska.
all,
It's just punk if
It's
it's not.
punk.
Yeah.
First of all, isn't the Police early ska?
Why do you
I
say
don't
that?
know.
Why would you come on to
Maybe
this
because
show
I'm a
and say
music
that?
historian. Do we even use this camera? I don't
These
know
are
what we're
no
doing.
cameras.
Jay Adam Myers over here.
We don't. Yeah, none of these are real.
This is all fake.
These are
Yeah,
fake.
yeah.
Ska.
Did you like ska? Tell us about the effect that the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones had on Boston.
Never
love the Boss Tones.
had to knock on wood.
We're gonna
but
get
I know
sued.
someone who
Yeah.
has.
I don't even know
And
the
I'm
words.
sure it isn't good. Okay.
I just love anything with brass. More
Same.
Like, you know.
Chicago?
No, I mean, Chicago uses a lot of brass.
Is Chicago ska? Like, would you say that was early ska?
No.
Not even.
I actually am going
First
to
of
take that
all-
stance. CTA was ska, but then they became Chicago.
There you go.
I'm pretty
You're
sure
okay with that?
Well, because it was a good poll with the Chicago Transit Authority.
Yeah.
anything Chicago you're down for.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
tell you, I had a Chicago dog for the first time this year when I went to do Zanies, and I was so skeptical.
Still hasn't taken a shit.
Where'd you have it from? Wiener Circle?
So here's the deal. I didn't have
Gene
enough
and
time
Jude's?
to like go
7-Eleven.
find where to get it. So I had it at the ballpark. I just got Chicago dog at the ballpark.
Do they have short peppers?
Yes, they had the whole deal.
Okay.
And I was like, this is going to be terrible. And I took the first bite and I was like, that's not bad. And then by the end of the dog, I was like, I don't want a hot dog any other way. It For some reason,
on
it
it?
works, dude.
I've never had a Chicago dog.
Tomatoes, which is
Yeah.
seems,
Neon green relish.
which is
Diced
I don't
onions.
Yeah.
Cooked or uncooked. Usually uncooked.
peppers,
Yeah. Little short peppers.
and it was like
Tomatoes,
a
huh?
wild taste.
How are the tomatoes cut?
The
like-
half long? They just
Like you would slice them and then cut that.
they're
in
not
half.
chopped. Yeah, they're not chopped or anything.
No.
Anyway, I was like, you know,
mustard, yellow mustard.
Yeah.
yeah, come on, it's the only mustard.
Hey, if people want ketchup, live their own life. I don't need it.
Did I tell you when I was in Boston and I at the turn stopped to get a hot dog and I go ketchup, and the woman there, another like in line at this golf course, not even the employee, she goes ketchup, and I was like, yeah, ketchup, and the guy goes, you want ketchup? And I go, yeah, just ketchup on a hot dog, and I go, is that crazy? And she goes, not. I mean, if you're a kid, no. And I was like, that was the first time in my life that
You got
I
shamed.
realized that certain places think it's absurd to put ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah.
First of all,
I grew up where that was the most standard thing you did.
Yeah, but that's how I grew up too, in
Yeah.
Boston. But the thing I love even more about Boston is that was like low key flexing on you in Boston. Normally
know.
they'd be like, all right, hey Tammy, Scott, you this asshole. Like that's how deep
Yeah.
they'll go.
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
I love that they just chilled on you.
That woman was just the way she was like, okay. She wasn't even a part of the interaction.
Yeah.
She joined in.
We got to introduce this guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by someone we both, I think, respect at the same level,
Yes.
mildly. Low level respect.
Guys.
This man has been a friend of ours individually and as a group.
I prefer you as a group now
for
more than any.
as a group for 4 years, but individually past that, much for earlier than that.
How did I meet you?
I know exactly. I can see it right now in my head. But you introduce me first.
Jay Larson.
Guys, let's take
Okay,
it
so
back
tell
to
him-
the top.
so tell him
Let's go
how
back
you-
to the song.
Yeah.
He's a
Jay
raconteur.
Larson, he's a writer, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he has a scooter, he broke his leg, although he's so humble, he'll say it was only his Achilles.
In the invitation, you have a really good scene in the kitchen, right?
Oh my God.
I do.
Yeah.
Daniel is right. Jay Larson is in the movie The Invitation, and I went with him to see it at the premiere
That's right.
at the
I don't even remember.
I do. I can't remember the name. It was at the Dome, but whatever that used to be.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Cine-
Cinespace?
No, not Cinespace.
the ArcLight?
The ArcLight.
Did you
It was-
forget ArcLight?
I did. I forgot ArcLight. And it's okay. Come over here.
No,
Scoot
he's
your chair
very
I know. Scoot your chair
disappointed.
He gets
I
upset.
dream about it every day coming back.
That's why you better be right when you say I remember how we met. You better fucking.
I know
it, 'cause
exactly.
He knows it, and he'll be
I
upset.
know exactly.
We went to see the movie. Jay blew my mind. Was so
He was
good
so
in the
good in it.
invitation.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
And what is your new podcast called?
It's called The Golf Line. It's
The
a golf
Golf Line.
podcast. But if you're into, it's very
No.
similar.
We don't hype other podcasts. I just want to know what it's called.
People
so we can
call
talk about
in with like questions
Nope,
about
not
golf
good.
and life.
Not
and
interesting.
share
You know,
golf
we
stories.
played golf together this summer.
it.
Yeah,
I think
how'd
it's
it go?
sad you rely on your listeners to keep your show
We played
afloat.
up at the cabin. Rory came to the cabin. We celebrated our birthdays. We golfed on a Sunday and a Monday. And Rory is a very good coach and an even better liar because
Yeah.
he made me feel like I was doing all right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey,
Yeah.
you also were in my sketch show, DVK.
Yeah.
We did I Wish I Was Dead.
We shot in a mini.
Mini.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wait, how did we meet?
We met at the one festival. Me and you, we were going to the festival. DVK was there. You knew Daniel. I didn't. And I forget what festival that was, to be honest with you. It might have been South by. It might have been.
Was it Riot?
Might have been Bridgetown. It might have been Denver. I can't remember.
Might have been High Plains.
Might have been High
It wasn't
Plains.
High Plains.
It wasn't. That's what I was gonna say.
And I was going to do something, and I was like, I kind of want to do like some weird interaction. And you were like right here, and you're like, oh yeah, what are you thinking? And I was just like, oh, what's up, dude? And like, you guys already been talking. He's like, you know Daniel? I'm like, no. And I'm like, he's like, he does tons of characters, and you're like, I'm gonna go up here and do a Wahlberg.
It was South by.
And you did like a Wahlberg preacher thing, like you were doing a preacher, and then
Yeah.
you came up.
it was Joel and Mandy's.
Yes.
Yeah.
show.
And then were you part of the Don't Talk to Andy Peters game?
No,
no,
Oh,
John Doerr.
no,
and
John-
Adam.
and Adam.
No,
Me,
no,
you,
I
and John Doerr,
wasn't.
and Adam.
And
you know
Nate.
it.
And Nate was like, I can't do this.
Don't talk to Andy
And-
Peters.
Yes, we met then.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we know when we met because it was for a music video.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were so good in that little sketch we did.
Yeah, that was super fun.
People love that
Oh,
sketch.
I thought you
yeah.
were all right. I thought you
And
were
then
all right.
obviously all the times we hung out on the crab feast.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And in real
you
life.
were one of the best ever on the crab
It's
feast.
very nice of you to
What
say.
is, what is going on here?
We're just highlighting moments.
I
that's
thought we
all.
were just introducing him. This
The
is-
greatest
I
thing
just-
about
I was doing
Rory-
a little memory walk.
you know,
with
No,
Jay
there's like
Larson.
sexual tension here.
The
I
great.
wouldn't call it tense.
I'm loosey goosey. I'm ready to go.
It's making me tense.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense. One of the greatest moments of Rory on the crab feast is DVK comes in the crab feast. He's like, pick a story, go,
I
and he
know.
just goes.
I don't have it.
This was
I don't have
Rory.
that.
Me and Sickler
You
were
don't
there.
gotta tell him. He knows.
No, and he's just sitting there like this, like for 38 minutes. Rory is just like uncomfortable because he's an improv guy.
And you know what Jay Larson would do in those moments?
It's not
What
a-
was your first job? Tell us like a first job.
Yeah.
we went into
That
that.
was you
not
always
a
knew
good-
that the guest
wasn't a good
didn't have
podcast.
something in the doesn't mean they were a bad guest. Sometimes it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't know, but it meant that they didn't have something locked and loaded. And Larson would throw it like, what was like a first job?
No, but-
job you had.
Do you
Not a
remember
good
what happened?
podcast. Not a good podcast.
You told a story you ended up doing.
This is let me get
He was
to
there.
it,
Let
guys.
him get to it. Let him tell the story.
So then eventually after 38 minutes, he settled in, and you're like,
38.
he goes, I don't know if this. He goes, actually, I've never even. I don't
I
think I've ever
forgot-
told
no.
anyone this story in my
But
life.
you guys were talking about that subject matter,
Yeah.
which was farting and accidentally taking a shit.
and then he told an amazing story about
and
pooping his pants.
only
and-
when they started telling that story, I was like, "Oh my god,
I do have a story.
I've deleted this from my brain, and it's flooding back." And then I told that whole story,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Jay and Ryan were both sitting there like, "Where the fuck was that this
Where
whole
was
time?"
that?
I didn't close with it.
It was
like,
very
became a
interesting to
whole
watch.
bit.
Yeah, that
Became
was
a whole
great.
thing.
well, I love that you're doing a show again. The
Yeah,
golf
me too.
line
Yeah, golf line.
Not me. I don't like competition.
premieres.
I think it's going to be later this month or October. We're still
Okay.
looking for. We got 2 in the can, and then we're going to go from there.
Great, I
Yeah.
love it.
Let's go to the ladders. Always good to have a fan of the show on as a guest.
That was your one chance to touch pitches. And you didn't. Whoa, whoa,
Oh, Jay, will you
whoa.
hand me that
Can you
letter?
see how good I was at
I
it?
threw it.
Guys, I got to tell you,
Aggressively.
the production that's going on here is unbelievable.
You like
this
it?
is wow.
You like
this
it?
is wow.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're in.
This
Did
is,
you see these?
This is Saturday
Did
morning.
you see these?
Look at
Does
that.
it hang? I thought it was magnets. That's nice.
No.
Magnets. We
We're
can't
not
afford
magicians.
magnets.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Hello,
Good lord.
Daniel.
The pen pals pod at gmail.com.
Yep.
And if you want to email us like these good people did, come to a show. If you want to say hello to us in person, and we'll like you a little bit more if you hand us a letter.
Yeah, we will like you.
Also, just by being a penny or a paler. What's the address?
Oh, well, Daniel, that's easy. It's care of the Pen Pals Podcast, 5419 Hollywood Boulevard, Suite C, number 121, Los Angeles, California, 90027.
Love it.
Top of my head. Okay. Hello, Pen Pals. I am stuck at home with COVID, and I didn't realize just how many of my 80s and 90s sitcoms are on daytime TV. I came across old episodes of Who's the Boss, and I had totally forgotten that Tony Danza was the first guy I ever saw and thought to myself, whoa, what a good-looking adult man. For reference, I'm 41, so I was a youngin' when it was first on. Who was your first celebrity crush? Wish you well, Becky. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bang, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong.
Bing, bing, bong. Thanks, Jay.
Do you think we're setting you up with all these sound effects?
No, not at all.
Well, you're wrong
I just
again,
think it's
bud.
interesting that you need me to do them.
Yeah,
you're a pen pal.
Yeah, no, I know.
We don't need you to do them. I mean, I do, but Daniel wants you to do them.
Yeah. First celebrity crush. First of all, did you even have? Was this a thing for either one of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I know exactly who it is.
I have
and
a few.
I didn't know till
I have
now.
a few.
You do.
I
you
have
go. You're
one
the
that
guest.
falls in the wheelhouse of what we're doing here, and then I have one that's completely out of that.
Yeah.
And I'll save mine. Do you want him to go first?
I think the guest should have to kick it off.
I kind of lived in TV land as a kid. Like
course.
my
Same.
everything, I was a latchkey kid. TV was the world for me.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do like a documentary on TV homes, like in rooms that I love, like Growing Pains, the room above the garage. You didn't want to be
think
Kirk
about it
Cameron.
all the
Yeah,
time,
all the time,
dude.
Yeah.
So, and I also had a weird thing for older women when I was really young. So
Are you gonna say the mom from Growing Pains?
Do you think as a
no. I was just going to relate to this.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
To Nicole, was it? Becky. I always looked at Tony Danza just
thought you
being
meant
like,
the
oh
character.
man, I would love to have a Tony Danza in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was jacked. I liked his hair. And but Alyssa Milano was on that show.
Yes.
So that was a lot of my friends were in love with Alyssa Milano. But I
Great
loved
start.
the mom. I thought she was the most
Judith
beautiful.
Light?
Yeah, I loved her.
Judith
Remember we
Light.
saw her on a play in
Yeah,
Pasadena?
we did with Al Pacino in Pasadena.
Yep, we did.
What? How?
Look, Jay and I go to things.
It was crazy, dude. We bought the tickets, walked up.
Well, what motivated you? Because of Pacino?
Because
Yeah.
it's nice to go out to plays once in a
I
while.
agree.
Yeah.
But it's
Pacino.
usually a motivation.
Pacino. We were like, oh my
Pacino.
god, I can't believe we're gonna go to a play and see Al
You know, it was
Pacino.
the best. We went with his buddy Johnny
Yeah.
and like all couples.
Yeah.
And when we left, I was like, wow, that was really impressive. And he's such a theater guy. He's like, oh God, Pacino was overacting. See, Judith Light was doing this, and I'm just like, oh, I guess I really don't know much about anything.
Wait, so you really had a crush on Judith Light?
I didn't have a crush on Judith Light. I was just always impressed by her, and she was a single mom. I was raised by a single mom, so I always like looked to her. I'm like, oh, she's keeping it together, and then she's got that.
That's not a crush. That's
I'll
admiration.
tell you my crush.
Yeah, but because he was raised by a single mom, he doesn't know what a crush is.
I'm bringing Becky into the fold here. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
relating to the show.
Look, let's just keep it what it is. At a young age, you wanted to sleep with Judith Light.
no,
Because
older
she
women,
reminded you of your mom.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's our
Not
show.
even close. Although the work suits definitely. I like
Work
that she was
suits.
that she worked and had a
Powerful.
job. Yeah, I love that.
Independent.
Yep. But Nicole Eggert was my childhood crush.
What's that?
Charles
Charles
in
in
charge.
Charge.
Yeah, the
I mean, it
blonde.
was just like
Which was
I'm
basically-
sorry, have some respect. The blonde. What do you think this is?
The
2000.
blonde. And here's why
19?
I'm paired up hard with him. The other daughter was also blonde.
Yeah,
Daniel.
but she's the blonde on the
And
show.
the son was blonde.
Yeah.
Was Charles in Charge basically a ripoff of Who's the Boss? I mean, it's the
They're
same
all-
thing,
Now that I'm
right?
thinking about it, it might
Isn't
have been.
it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
might have been.
Scott Baio.
Also, why
love
is
the
he in
road he
charge?
went down.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Love
and his buddy,
love where
whose
he
name was
ended up.
Buddy,
Charles
I think.
was in charge.
He went on to be like a superhero for Christians.
That's right. Which
Like
is what
Kirk
you do.
Cameron?
No,
Kirk
the
Cameron also.
no, the Kirk
Another
Cameron,
one.
he's just the Christian superhero.
Oh, okay.
Nicole Eggert. Nicole Eggert for sure.
disrespectful.
Nicole Eggert hardcore.
Not mine, but you're gonna say mine, and it's fine.
No, let's. Yeah, can we let Daniel?
No,
hop
I
in?
know. This
No,
is a
because I
thing.
actually want to know.
I want to know.
I want to know. Okay, mine. All right, go ahead. Daniel.
Now
he
Oh,
knows.
First of all,
I got some back.
Two things. You are horrible at whispering.
Oh.
I bet you they even heard.
Did
what
you guys
said.
hear it?
No.
Did you
I
really
didn't
hear it?
think
Yes,
What did I
100%.
say?
This is what you said, ready?
Yeah.
Okay? And this is. I'm gonna do this on camera, but it's just for the listener.
Okay.
I thought it was actually a pretty good whisper.
Am I wrong?
Was I really that loud?
It wasn't that loud.
It was
But
loud enough.
The fact that he heard it, it was loud enough. Right?
Tiffany Amber Thies.
That is
Kelly Kapowski was my
Great
We
one.
were gonna be married.
Of
I really
course.
thought.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really was like, this is it for me.
mine.
Mhm.
DJ Tanner.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't ever
DJ
ever,
Tanner?
Her
ever
Kirk
hear
Cameron's
that.
younger
sister?
sister. Yeah.
You never hear that.
Really?
No
Yeah,
one
never.
has ever
I've
said
never-
that.
I don't know.
never
you're
even
doing a
one
bit.
time.
The other
Nah,
one.
I'm not doing it.
The other
I've
one?
never heard that ever.
The other one though that I just thought of after I said it. Topanga from Boy Meets World.
I can see
How old
that
are you?
more
Same-
so.
we're all the same age.
I'm older than both you guys.
I'm 42.
Yeah, so I never watched Boy Meets World.
Really?
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, I forgot, was, I mean,
Saved by the Bell.
that Saved by the Bell in general was just like, I just wanted to be Zach. I was more in love with
I know,
Zach than I
yeah.
was
Yeah, that's a
anybody
good
else.
call too.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's
I
so
mean, I
wild.
was
Remember
gonna
when
marry Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
my world exploded when Tiffany Amber Thiessen
No, it's
went
it's
on
Ethan.
Thesis.
It's Ethan.
went on Beverly Hills 90210. It was just like, what?
Yeah.
You're mixing these worlds?
Yeah.
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 The other one.
Yeah.
Mira Sorvino.
In what?
Mighty Aphrodite.
Not me. I don't know that.
I've never seen it.
I don't
Understand.
even know why. It just and then and then Romy and Michelle, so cute.
Can
and
I-
smart and adorable and fun and dumb.
As a kid, and Jay already answered this, but maybe you have a different one. Older woman who, as a kid, who did you have a TV crush?
You're just so you can say Diane Lane.
I got a Diane, but it's not Lane.
Wait, who do you got?
It's specifically in Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Really?
I was just like,
Good
she's
energy.
she's awesome.
Chill.
Her energy's the best. I love her, and I love her in that Jack Nicklaus movie.
I asked
She's
this
just so
question. I
rad.
don't know that I have an answer.
For an older woman that you had a crush on.
As like in a
Did
the
you have a
TV
crush
world.
on? I wouldn't consider her older, but Back to the Future. Did you have a crush on?
No.
What's her name?
Well, it became Elizabeth Shue. Or do you mean?
Yeah, dude,
or do you
Adventures
talking about
in
the mom?
Babysitting.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have
Yeah.
a crush on her. I don't know.
Yeah,
who I had a
Elizabeth
crush-
Shue's. Yeah, I had an early crush on her too.
I mean,
But I never
guess-
really specifically was like, I want to date her.
Yeah.
DJ Tanner was. I remember
mean-
feeling that for like a year of
I
my
think
life.
we've
I
I
said
just
had a
can't
real crush on her.
imagine like dating a DJ. Like, hey DJ, ready to go, girl? Like, I just don't.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how I do
Well,
it.
it's not. That wasn't her real name.
No, it is
No,
Candace, right?
Candace.
Candace Cameron.
Candace Cameron.
I'd actually go DJ.
That's a good name.
It is a great name. Now she's crushing all these Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Would either of you do a Hallmark movie?
Yes,
Sure.
and I do it tonight.
Heartbeat.
I do one tonight.
I want to write one.
Kathy Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
That just specifically when I was in Spencer's.
Yeah.
And just
100.
click,
But
click, click.
And then
Yeah.
one of them randomly would be glow in the dark, and you're like, why?
What is this?
Why
Why is there a glow in the dark
that doesn't
mushroom?
make
I
that
don't
makes
even
it
know
horrible.
about drugs.
Why is
yet
there a
at all.
mushroom in the
Nothing.
corner?
Right, and then it would be the Slippery When Wet album cover.
Always,
Click. My whole
always.
life is changing in the back corner of the Spencer's Gifts.
And then randomly to take a break, you're like, zzz, just for no reason, that ball.
I know this is such like of course, but it is real that I would guess anyone under 20 has no do they even buy posters? Like, is there like posters?
we have posters.
Remember
up in our
Walmart
kids' room.
had like every place you would buy
Posters.
Yeah. That is they have no idea.
I think kids still have posters. Yeah, my kids have posters
Where?
up in their room.
From where?
We have a.
Well, how
where-
much would you love it if Reed's got a Judith Light poster in his room? And Jay's like, all right, Reed, it's time. I want to pass this down to you.
Hey, real quick,
Or not.
back to Kathy Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elle
Don't forget,
McPherson.
like
Unnecessary.
Elle
roughness.
McPherson too. Oh my god.
you guys go, and then let
No,
me know
you
when.
go.
I was just gonna say that's
Here's-
like supermodels became a thing when we were kids.
Yes.
Remember, there was no. It was Cindy Crawford
From DeKalb,
came
Illinois.
in, but Elle McPherson was the one. She almost defined
I don't know, Bo
the idea.
Derek. Right? Wouldn't Bo Derek?
Well,
I
and
don't-
Tommy
I don't-
Boy alone. There's an older woman crush.
Right there. Right there. Right there.
She's in
Elle
Tommy Boy.
McPherson was
Yeah, she was amazing.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, you're hand drawn.
Yeah.
You're that.
Is hand drawn? Is that good?
I would think like if you draw whatever you want.
I mean, I'm thinking of me doing it. I'm like, that wouldn't
I've
look
seen
good
some
at all.
hand-drawn
That'd be bad.
pictures.
I'm not good
I
at
don't know if
drawing.
That'd be
I'm
bad.
horrible at
That'd be
drawing.
bad. If you were drawing, it'd be bad.
You are hand-drawn, and it looks like you need help.
That would be funny in a rom-com. Like, God, you're just like hand-drawn. And she's like, what does that mean exactly?
And then
Hand-drawn.
And then he goes
This.
like this.
And it's a horrible, it's like a stick figure. And she's like, oh.
Yeah.
Have you guys met any of your crushes? I've met Topanga.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I feel horrible for not even knowing her.
I don't think
Real
I
name.
have. I don't think I have.
I haven't, no.
You have not?
No. I mean, Jay.
Would you feel compelled in like a panel to say something? Like you're on the Tonight Show, they're also on the couch. Would you say like?
Well, you don't want to
I have
ruin
to
it all
admit.
by creeping it
No,
out.
don't-
It's all
not in
how
like
how you approach it. But I would have no issue bringing it up.
Yeah, I would probably clear it, to be honest. I'd probably
Yeah.
go, hey, when we're both out there, do you care if I say I had a crush on you when I was growing up?
And they're like, "Is that
And,
true?"
and,
you're like, no.
and
but I
if they
think it'll
give you
endear me."
anything other than go for it, don't do it.
yeah.
If they give you, oh, okay. You
Yeah.
go, you know what? Forget
Oh.
it. Forget it. Yeah, don't worry about
Or
it.
do it if they say don't do it, and they go, well,
No.
Now people need to know.
I've been on dating apps now, you know,
Okay.
that I'm single.
Yeah.
And there is a
Are you on Raya?
celebrity crush from when I was a kid that I've seen. And I'm like, and I
Can you
know
name
people that have,
names?
I don't want to just because I don't really know,
Right.
you know, but I have friends that have gone on a date with this person and I'm like, they just went to go with a celebrity. You know what I mean?
That's shitty.
from like the past. You think, I mean, I don't know if that's true. But
Right, but I'm saying that would be a shitty reason to do
yeah,
it.
it would
yeah,
be.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, it's interesting to, you know, you're out there and you're like, oh, wow, hey, you know, but.
What about what's his name from Melrose Place with blonde hair?
The blonde.
What was her name?
I know who you're talking about. She was on a movie.
Heather
she was on a
Locklear?
TV show. Wasn't she on
Heather
Spin City?
Locklear was one.
Yeah.
Wasn't she in Spin City? Or News Radio? She was on News Radio
No,
or
she was
Spin
on
City?
News.
No.
No, I think maybe Spin City. I don't know.
I can't remember, but
I don't
she
know.
was.
Heather Locklear.
Oh, no, not Heather Locklear. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of someone else.
Crushes are great. I wish we had like either a female. Well, we do have one, but I mean,
I
as
feel
a
like
guest. But I would love to know like the male crushes as well. That people were that
Bro,
like
we're
women
right.
would
Let's
just-
talk about it. Kirk
Did you
Cameron.
sort
Well,
of
no,
have-
well, I would agree with that as well.
Yeah.
There are
Oh.
men that like whatever peer age
Alex
wise
P.
peers.
Keaton?
Lori Laughlin. I forgot.
Yeah,
Lori Laughlin.
yeah.
Who's Lori Loughlin?
Alex P. Keaton, big time.
From Full House. Aunt Becky.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Now criminal.
Loved Jesse.
Criminal on the run.
Yeah.
Do you think people had a big crush on the son in Family Members? Obviously not.
Family
Urkel.
members.
Family Matters. Did I say
most
members?
Family members.
Dude,
You got
I'm
Craig,
not
That's a
gonna
you got
lie.
porn. That's a porn.
I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
a porn parody.
That
Family
is-
Members.
But that is the most amazing broad title for a sitcom. Be like, it's just called Family Members. People are like, what is it about?
Save
You're like,
it. We
"It's
might use
family
that.
members."
Save it.
about.
Save it.
It's about family members.
Do you think that people had, like he was a heartthrob? JTT was the
Yeah,
the
he was
all
big
time,
time.
right? Lissa, mic it up. We need a female voice. in
Oh
here.
yeah. So Randy.
Here, wait, Lissa talks for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Here are my
could.
crushes.
I absolutely could. I have a list in my head.
Who is Randy?
JTT from Home Improvement.
Okay, yeah.
My
oh,
receiver,
right.
yeah. Kirk Cameron was huge. Obviously, Zach Morris, AC
What about
Slater.
Devin Soya.
Devin Sawa from
Sawa Soya.
Yeah,
So from what?
from
Casper.
Now and Then.
Now and Then?
Casper,
What
yeah.
about what about
Final
Step by
Destination?
Step by Step, older brother Sasha, whatever his name.
Oh
was.
yeah,
care
what
more
Karate
about-
Kid? He was in the Karate
Yeah,
Kid 3,
I think
right?
so.
Cousin Cody was
Cody.
the
Yeah.
yeah. But like, if you're talking like older guys too, I mean, like I was a Patrick Duffy fan.
Ooh.
I was interested in Patrick Duffy from
Patrick
Step by
Duffy?
Step.
He was the dad from
I
Step
didn't
by
see-
Step.
I don't know.
Patrick Duffy. He was in Dallas. He auditioned
guy.
for Robbie and was so funny.
Really?
Came in and he just he was doing jokes and bits, and I was like, this guy Patrick Duffy.
Uncle
What you
Jesse.
want. It's what
This
you
is
want.
what you want.
Uncle Jesse was a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember having
Of
like
course.
my sexual awakening to things like this. Do you remember the show Silk Stockings?
Yes.
That just the
Red
opening.
Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, that was a big one for me. And then there was
Mine was
would
Santa
also-
Barbara.
I remember being
Can
attracted.
you say it one more time?
Santa Barbara.
What is that?
Just one
It's a
more
soap
time.
opera.
Just one more time.
And Days of Our Lives. My Nana, those were her programs. So
Say
when
it
you
one
come
more
home
time.
after
Just
school,
one more
Santa
time.
Barbara, she'd be watching her programs, and I'd sit and watch like soaps. And I
Did you
remember
watch
just being like,
Knots
"What is
Landing or
this?"
Falcon Crest?
I mean, I remember the opening to. Oh, I'm thinking of Dallas.
Okay.
The opening. But you know who I wanted to be as a kid so bad was Malcolm Jamal Warner. I just wanted to be him so bad.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah,
One more,
like
just do one more.
because I always looked at dudes, Santa Barbara. I always looked at dudes in shows. I'm like, I want to be like that guy, like Kirk Cameron, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Brandon and Nino. Like that was my guy.
Oh, that was your guy? You weren't a
Brandon.
Dylan guy?
I couldn't see myself being Dylan. You know what I mean? He was too.
Not Ian
he was
Ziering?
too cool.
You couldn't be him.
I could see myself being
Yeah.
Ian Ziering.
I could
that Corvette.
What was his
that he had?
character's name?
See, you wanted the vet. I would have
Who
taken
was Ian Ziering
Dylan's.
in 90210? What was his name?
Zach. No, Steve.
Steve. Nice.
Steve-O.
Yeah. He was kind of a fuck up, but also like
But
he
not
was
really.
No.
He was sincere.
And
Yeah. He just wanted a good. He just
I was
wanted a
such
simple
a
life. I
Brian
think.
Austin Green. Still am.
Dude, what he
Still
did to
am.
Donna?
Yeah.
You don't want to
seriously,
rethink
bro.
about it. You're going to get
Nah.
canceled for that.
Nah, I'm bag.
You are not, dude. That's a
I'm
problem.
bag all the way.
Do you know when that show was on? I would be in my mom's living room, bedroom,
Sure.
watching this show, right?
Yeah.
When
Watching
the
family
commercial
members.
came, boop, 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 boop. Dude, are you serious right now?
You would
Are
call.
Oh yeah, my best friend Rye, my girlfriend. Like, are you? What? Can you believe this?
So you,
They
like,
better let
watched.
her graduate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched.
What?
Oh, with a big plot line from
Donna
that
Martin
to
graduates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Donna Martin graduates.
Also, you mentioned Eddie from Family Members, but
Yeah.
Stefan Urkel was the one that.
Stefan Urkel.
Sexy Urkel?
Oh yeah.
Stefan
What?
Urkel.
Oh yeah. Big
Stefan
time.
Urkel, yeah.
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 I think I also had a crush on the girl from My Two Dads. I also just had a crush on the
I
fact
don't
she had
remember
two dads.
her.
Yeah, my two dads.
Yeah, you were just jealous of that.
Yeah. I was,
Yeah.
I was like,
I'll
can I
take
get
one.
half of that?
I'll take one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm trying to think if there was any others. But yeah, I had a dream once that I was dating DJ Tanner. And then I was like, oh, I think I have a real crush on her. That's the only time that's ever happened.
I'll be straight up. I think the people we've named were crushes. I think this DJ Tanner thing with you goes
Yeah,
a
you
lot
brought it
deeper.
up a
He's brought it up a
lot.
couple
It's
times.
the most real crush I thought I ever really had on
I
somebody.
think it
other
goes
than Ellen
beyond that.
McPherson.
I think it goes beyond that.
I know. Sirens?
Yeah. I mean, that was just like, that was too much for a kid my age. I was like, this is too much.
Have you seen it?
You
I don't know
cannot-
what
I
we're
knew you
talking
didn't. I
about.
didn't make it to South Carolina.
Oh my God.
All right. I
All
love
right.
this.
Do you remember the Emmanuel movies?
Yeah, dude, hand to fucking Rochelle. I was going to say that after I said Siren, but I was like, these two fuckers don't
What
know
are
the
the
I
name.
think I sensed it.
Emmanuel 5? Emmanuel 5 was...
It's the best of the Emmanuels.
I've never seen one.
Are you for real?
I'm 100% real.
What about 2, 3, or 4?
I've seen all of those. What's the Emmanuel movies?
You let him live his life.
It's soft porn.
That's
it was
fine.
like it was my
Oh.
first introduction to like soft porn.
Gotcha.
Same.
Where it was like,
Same.
like even now you look at it.
I
by
rented
today's
it.
standards, you would look at it and go, "You can put this on daytime TV."
I rented it from the Video Hub. Oh my gosh. If anybody,
Which is now a steakhouse.
if any of our pen pals had crushes, but specifically if you ever met them, write us in. We'll read about it on
Obviously,
the page.
DJ Tanner's a big one for Daniel. If you
Yeah.
have a story.
Actually, you might
Also,
not.
if anyone knows her, Daniel's just
No,
looking
leave her
for an
alone.
email
Leave her
address.
alone. Leave
He's
her
looking
alone.
for a phone number
Leave
or
her
email
alone.
address.
Leave her alone. She's in production right now. Okay.
On a remake?
Hallmark movie. What's wrong
Oh,
with
Hallmark.
you?
She's got the hallmarks.
I haven't seen any of the Fuller Houses. Have you?
Mm-mm.
That is just blows my mind.
What?
You want to marry DJ Tanner and you haven't
I
seen
don't.
any of the Fuller
I'm happily
Houses.
married. Okay.
Just say that you've seen the Fuller Houses.
I haven't.
Becky, look, here's the deal. This is great. I think we all agree Tony Danza, obvious choice. Like,
Awesome.
hot stuff, super fun, down to support, cool.
Yep.
Even now, I don't know Tony Danza now, but I would
But he's a good
assume.
guy.
I bet you
bet
just
he's
want him
awesome.
to be that. You just want him to be the boss.
Yeah.
Interesting, Tony Danza played the dad in Sebastian Maniscalco's
I know.
unaired
sitcom,
pilot
right?
sitcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multicam.
Which you're like, he's too young almost in my eyes to play the dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just based off the stories.
Yeah.
But when you see it, you're like, God, who wouldn't want Tony Danza as a dad?
You'd almost believe that was real life.
Yeah.
You go, Sebastian, this guy? Yeah, I see
Yeah.
it. Anyways, Becky, absolutely great letter. We love it. Thank you for thank you for writing it in and exposing that you want to marry Tony Danza. We wish you well.
Hope you're over
Sincerely,
the
your
vid,
pen
yeah.
pals, Rory Scovel
Daniel Van Kirk
and
Jay Larson.
Hey,
we're back. And we're back.
Back to the. Oh, okay.
Back.
When
in
you have a
the
deal with
saddle
Ryan, you can't touch a
again.
pitch? You still can't touch a pitch?
You'd have to pay.
What do you got? What's on the docket? What do you got coming up? Give us your plugs. Give us your things.
I can tell there's so many things people can go on and watch that you're either in or you directed.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
Okay.
I think let's leave it at that. Daniel, what do you got coming up?
Perfect. I don't have any dates. I'm not going on the. I'll be out there with Sal Volcano in October, November,
Well,
and
I bet that is so much. Have you done shows with them before?
Yeah.
I bet that's.
Is it just the warmest,
it's
most
so
fun crowd?
Oh yeah. They're great. And Sal's just the best. He's the sweetest guy.
Yeah.
And then I'm releasing a special, but we just don't have an air date yet, so we're just waiting on that. And then the Golf Line podcast.
And where can people just anywhere podcasts?
Yeah. Remember when you had to say that? You know what I mean? Like you can get it on now. You just know you can get it.
Right.
You think?
You can get it anywhere.
You think?
And is it guests or people just call in and
I bet you
respond?
can't get it on title.
Yeah, it's like I'll talk about golf, then I take calls from listeners. Direct. Some I interview, some I just respond to, and then I do interviews.
Well, just in case no one heard my joke before, I think it's sad that your show has to be propped up by your fans participating.
That was a good joke.
No, I said it before. No one really heard
What
it.
about you?
At
this point,
Zanies in Nashville at the end of October. Go to my website and check it out. If you're in LA, come and see my whatever show at the Elysian Theater October 3rd and October 10th. It's a wild time.
I'm going to be back in town for the 10th one. I could do that one.
Nope.
Okay.
Uncomfortable.
I guess technically I'm
Nope,
here for
Jay's
the 3rd,
doing
too.
it.
I hope he is doing it.
He's doing all of them.
You can see me the first week of October in Lafayette, Austin, Houston, and I think College Station. Go to danielvankirk.com. And then on the 13th, I'll be in Nashville doing a live Dump People Town. On the 14th, I'll be doing a live Dump People Town in Chicago as well as a stand-up show. On the 15th, I'm in Manhattan. On the 16th, doing a live Dump People Town in Brooklyn. And then we have the Comedy Festival in November. Go to danielvankirk.com. And if you're having a bad day, I hope you have a better one.
Go to badday.com.
Okay, ready? That is definitely a thing, and you have no idea what you just sent people to.
We'll find out.
Okay. To my pen pals, I hope this finds you well. I am a paler. That means they've listened to every episode, like you. I am a paler, and I'm writing you gents as I have struggling, I would say am struggling with some members of my family as well as some friends.
Yep.
One of the ways I show people I care for them is by making a concerted effort to make myself available to them if they need help with a project, emotional mental support, or if they just need someone to vent to. I think that this has come to a head, though, as I am growing increasingly frustrated with the state of these relationships. The majority of the people I try to be available to show next to no reciprocity. I made it.
Dude, great.
Thank you.
Real great.
Sure, they may ask me how I'm doing sometimes or for an update regarding a recent endeavor I may have told them about, but as soon as I respond, they have a propensity to shift the focus back to themselves and their needs, problems, etc. I have gone #F2F, that means face-to-face, with two of these peoples to establish some boundaries and tell them that I am not... What would you say?
Well, I think it's available.
Okay.
And I think they misspelled.
But there is a world in which neither of us know that word.
Available.
Right? But I think you're right.
Available. I want that to be a real word we've never heard before.
Establish some boundaries and tell them that I'm not available to help them in order to try and maintain some time for myself, as we all need. When I have addressed this with them and expressed my perspective, I have used a metaphor. I tell them that it feels like I am a bank and they only make withdrawals and never make deposits, resulting in them getting mad at the bank for there not being enough left to withdraw.
For overdraft fees.
Yeah. When they get upset with that nothing is left to withdraw, they lash out, which makes me feel like no matter what I do, it is never enough. This is not an RRGT, Rip Roaring Good Time.
Roaring Good Time.
As you can imagine, insert sad trombone song here. I think it'd be more of a... No, that's very good. I'm not going to take that away from you. It does sound like you're 13 and practicing.
I mean, not even 13. That's like your first instrument right there.
Very good.
When was your first instrument?
5th grade.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but his mom's
My
like
son's just got
his mom's in
clarinet.
the symphony. Okay, ready?
He plays drums too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more of this.
Yep, you're right.
Have either of you dealt with any similar situations, or all three of us? If so, how do you recommend I go about addressing this further? I apologize for being long-winded and appreciate your time, consideration, and perspectives. Best regards, Nick. P.S. Thank you both for all the laughs you have created with your work and for the camaraderie you have fostered with this podcast. P.P.S. Do you roll your toilet paper over the top or roll it under the bottom? We're not even... do you want to?
Over the top.
Who cares? Okay.
I do. Over the top. That's the
It
only way
doesn't
to do it.
matter. If you're worried about the most efficient way, it's underneath. But if you
We
told
have
me you
talked
do
about
it
this.
either way, I do not care.
We have talked about it. Over the top.
You know what the real question is? Do you have toilet paper? Or a bidet?
Is this
Because I
legitimate?
don't care how
Over
you
the
give
top.
it to me.
So over the top. But you would
Not
Wait,
care.
how do you do it?
You don't
You've
care
just
either.
opened a fresh roll of toilet paper.
I
You're
go over
putting
the
it
top
onto the
every
thing.
time, but it doesn't matter to me.
Say,
Okay, but everyone, it seems like it does matter.
I would say more importantly
Okay,
when
you have it.
I would say more importantly when someone is as vulnerable as that guy was, the first thing to do is ridicule him for the idea of over the top or underneath. It would be insensitive.
Oh, well, you
Yep.
listen to the show a lot, so you know we work backwards.
Well, that would be the first thing.
Right, exactly.
But that's just me.
Which you get because you listen to the show.
Yeah, of course. Every
Which is
episode,
why
dude.
we had you on.
Power!
Okay.
But here's what I'm
Or
sensing.
a penny.
Here's what I'm sensing is that you
That's
both
a real thing.
I
both
know. I
do
remember the whole
care.
thing up top when you guys first started.
I love that you both are like, I do it this way, but it doesn't matter to me. And you are still in this.
Do you want to know?
It does matter to
Do you want the truth of what?
Daniel,
matter
it
at all.
matters to you.
For me,
If you came to my house and it was under, would you switch it?
Yes.
You know what I would?
do you know why?
I actually don't know if I would, but I am curious. I almost wish you never asked this question, and I wish I could find out through natural, organic circumstances
forget.
if I would switch it.
You'll forget. I think at one point we did a whole episode where we created a boy band, and neither one of us remember.
But we did a whole episode where we've talked about this.
I know. That's
Over,
why
under.
I don't care.
Over. I don't care either, but over it
And
has
you
to
don't
be
care,
over. And I
right?
don't care at all.
I don't care now.
You don't care at all, but it has to be over? Okay.
I do it over at my house because I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but like my kids sometimes will put it under, and it doesn't bother me. I'm just like, oh, it's under. That roll's gonna be gone in 4 days.
That's not.
4 days.
Yeah,
It's not.
we
true.
drop deuces, baby. Dropping deuces.
Okay, we don't like poop talk on this show.
I
don't know
love
why
it. Over.
Every guest we have on ends up talking about this.
Deuces.
You and Brett Goldstein and who else? Did Rose?
I don't remember.
Okay. What do you want to do when you feel like all you're doing is giving and never getting in your friendships?
It is tough to go, you know what, maybe I'll just cut it off and see if they notice. That I got to say, I don't think that's ever the route. Do you know what I mean? If you go, I always reach out to Jay, never reach out to me, so I'll just stop reaching out to Jay. If someone's already not reaching out, it will not change things for you to go, let me show you what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
It will change it for the person though that's always reaching out.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it won't make, the point being like, I
But
always
that's
reach out
what-
to
that's
Jay,
what
but
he
Jay never
needs.
reaches out to me, so I'm going to stop, and then Jay's
Right.
going to realize I've stopped, and he's going to change his ways. I
Not
think some
true.
people do think
Not
that.
true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think some people think that, and what I'm here to say is that will
You know what
not
I
happen.
found a lot? People who we are friends with that we know.
Name names.
They have Jay Larson. They
Oh, that's not exciting at all.
I'm talking
I'm
about you.
right here.
I know.
Yeah, you know, you're a piece of shit.
No, but they almost in their dating life or even a lot of their friendships pursue broken birds to mend them and help them and be there for them. And then they eventually get burned out and sick of this person needing
Yes.
them to help them all the time. And I think one of the things I learned in therapy is you have to look at yourself and go, wait, am I seeing these little broken winged birds and saying, hey, I'll give you everything you need, I'll help you out. And then when they take me for everything I have, I then blame them for it. But you entered into this relationship or this friendship. You were attracted to the need of you. You wanted the need. You wanted to be able to be the thing that someone could rely on and have.
interesting.
And then you end up resenting that person for it.
Yeah.
And if you go your route where you go, I'll just stop. Well, you know what's going to happen.
I know.
They'll go find
They stop.
someone else
Yeah.
to
It never
help
ends
them.
the way you want that scenario. It never ends with them going, hey, since you stopped reaching out, I realized I never reach out to you. Like, that's so
yeah.
unrealistic.
But I don't think that's what he's saying. I got a lot of things on this.
Go for it.
Because personally, I've been through a ton of this in the last 2 years.
Why
You
don't
know,
we get
when
to
you get
talk?
divorced, you go through a lot of this shit.
Okay.
Because people drop in and out of your life, you know. So first thing I would say is probably guy like this, you got to look back to your childhood. You know what I mean? I was raised by a narcissist, so there was no attention for me. So I always seeked it everywhere else. This guy clearly looks like he's trying to get out there and help people and overgive.
Yeah.
If you give, that's your decision. You know what I mean? I had to make a decision because I felt like I overgave a lot with a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
So I did exactly the thing. I'm like, I'm going to stop
step
reaching
back.
out. My therapist said to me one point, was like, how many relationships do you think you keep going because you continually like make plans, reach out, check in? And I was like, good point. And I stopped, which was for me, not that person.
Yeah.
And I just
And
saw.
even the therapist was like, because I've already told you to stop coming back here.
I've been like, why are you still here? No, but I quickly saw the percentage of people that stopped reaching out to me. And I was just like, oh. And then I was able to reevaluate with certain people and be like, oh, I'm just going to change the way I see that person and how I want them to be in my life.
Sure.
And then I switched it. And then there were some people I was like, oh, they're not as good of a friend as I thought they were. But what I'd like to do is I still care about them because I like that person.
Yeah.
So I will reach out or make attempts, but know that I'm doing it without expectation that they'll do it back because they're just not that person. Then I took it a next step further and I started asking myself, how do you feel inside when you're around certain people? Do I feel good? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel uncomfortable? And then I started realizing, like, oh, some people I just don't feel good around. So I stopped making the effort. And then another thing for me was I had so many friends. Like, you know, back when I was married. I had tons of friends. I did. I remember my therapist one time was like, how many best friends do you think you have? And I was like, I don't know, like 12? And then now I've like reevaluated and I've gotten more comfortable just like, because I, same thing, care about myself more. So I'm okay being on my own and don't need 15 people reaching out to me every day.
Yeah.
So that's all me.
Did you feel like you were being used?
No, I never thought I was being used. I was just giving myself away.
It wasn't reciprocated.
You were on a one-way street.
I think you got to always look at your side of the street. And I looked at my actions and I was like, this is you. It doesn't matter what that person's doing. If I keep doing it, it's on me. So I just realized I'm like, oh, you just keep giving yourself away because I'm used to doing that from like my childhood. So I've like relearned and just been like, oh, it's okay. And then I started looking for people that were interested in me and like to interact with me the way that I like to interact. Like people, like I like to check on people. I like to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
And when people start doing it to me, I'm like, oh, this person clearly likes you the way that you like to be liked and the way you like to like. And then I've like built new friendships. I'm like, oh, this is so great because they check on me. You know what I mean? And I check on them. And I just started like reevaluating what was important instead of like trying to make things happen in my life. I kind of let my life come to me more and then looked and was like aware, like, oh, this is that's happening here. Like focus on it, you know?
I have two things to add.
Go for it, brother.
First off being you two were a big wake up for me on like reaching out because and this is a little devil's advocate, but not in the way it might sound. But I am so used to not like people reaching out to me and going, oh, people will reach out and people will talk to me. But I come from such a place of, oh, no, when there isn't someone that's going, oh, when are you going to reach out? When are you going to check in? That I always just sat back in almost a reclusive way, even in my friendships, and was just like, I don't like, I'm not proactive to go, oh, let's hang out, let's do something. Almost from a place of, it's not fully like, oh, because I don't think that person's going to want to. But it does come from a place of going, yeah, but people are busy. Like, I just don't want to be a bother or be in the way.
Right.
And it really wasn't until I had a conversation with Jay where you even just point blank said, like, yeah, I'm reaching, yeah, because I want to hang out. I want to be friends. I want to, like, do stuff. And it was like the light bulb going off where I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I had matured into that place of going, oh, yeah, that's what you do. That's how you're supposed to, like, do it and maintain these relationships because I always just sat back and tried to stay out of the way. And I was also in that stand-up brain of just going, yeah, I all I'm focusing on is going to bed and then trying to find out what show I'm doing like next. And then it was like a wake-up call of going, oh yeah, these are friendships are happening right now and I'm not noticing it because I'm not like paying attention to it and I'm trying to like stay out of the way. The second one being, I think people also have to factor in all of your friendships and relationships are not equal to each other. I always look at it in terms of how the solar system works. You're going to pass certain planets at certain times. You know, I think through the nature of having to do this podcast, they're wanting to do it, we communicate a lot. I feel like we have like almost like this time frame that I don't even think we think about.
He's like, you're Pluto, bro.
You're Pluto to
You're
me,
fucking
and I
Pluto,
barely
dude.
see you, and I'll never reach out, and you're not a planet.
And you're not even a planet.
And you're not real to me. But do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
of
think there's
course.
certain relationships where there are some people that I don't talk to probably for 6 months, and that's just our
And what I'm
thing.
and
you
I
know?
think the thing for this guy is if you're striving for those people that you don't talk to for 6 months and you never get it back, sit back and
Yeah.
see what people are.
see what their schedule
No.
kind of is with like
No, see what people in your life are reaching out and
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
making the effort, because those people might be
Yeah.
better for you. Because for me, I came from a very broken childhood with tons of fucking trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I constantly have always looked for unavailable people because those are the people around me. So it's the
Yeah.
only way I learned to experience love was through unavailable people going for it and just being like, this felt like what love would be, and then have
Yeah, he
someone
loves those shoes.
who
You
wasn't
gotta-
available.
Yeah.
So then I constantly looked for that, and it wasn't until like, you know, going through divorce and going through change and really diving into who I was and where it came from. And usually
Also, it's like, what do you feel like you deserve?
well, yes, but that because that I always felt like I deserved people who didn't want to care for me, because that's what all that was everything for me.
Right.
And he said boundaries in there. My family, there were zero boundaries. Nobody drew a boundary.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit what you want your boundary to be. And I've, in the last 2 years, had to say repeatedly to people in my family, like, hey, I'm just setting a boundary here. I don't want that to be that's not going to happen anymore. Like, we don't
Right.
talk
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
I think if people don't respond to your boundaries, that's a really good way of understanding or thinking whether or not you want them in your life. And family doesn't need to be in your life because they're family. That's, you know, you can
I
take
agree, yeah,
space
yeah.
from family, take
Yes.
a little space and
from
be
anyone.
like,
From anyone.
yeah, and then
are
reevaluate
people.
how you want them to be, and then you got to look at your part and like, how much do
Yeah.
I do that stuff? You
Well,
know?
I think you're saying you got to evaluate how people make you feel when you're around them, or the vibe you get from them. That is
100.
such a big deal of listening to that very organic, natural instinct that you feel with people. But also, I think there is an acceptance that you have to make when you go. Let's say as a hypothetical, if I said, Jay, I reach out to you all the time, and then I decided to stop, and you never reached out to me. There's a world where you have to sit back and realize that Jay might go, I'm not trying to have a relationship with you.
Totally.
Or I'm not trying to have the one that you want to have.
Exactly.
And that is not, and no one in that scenario is right or wrong. And in my opinion, no one has
course.
wronged the other.
Have you
It's
guys-
just how it is.
This is gonna sound lighter, but I think it's of the same. Like, well, we're not the same. Like, have you ever had someone ask you to be in their wedding, and you're like, what? Like, where you were like, oh, you view our friendship on a way different level than I view our friendship, or even invited to a wedding. Where you
No,
were like,
every
I can't believe-
person I got asked, because, you know, as I'm sure you've married people. I've been best man. I've been in the wedding parties. I've hosted the after dinner. Every person I was like, yeah, I felt like I deserved to be there or be, you know, at that point in our relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never was like, what? This guy great? No.
I've never been invited to anything. Weddings, parties, get-togethers, movie
You'll get
nights,
there,
game
bro.
You should look at
nights.
that.
You'll get there.
I would
Picture,
say
just to be in a picture with somebody.
I would say though here when Nick says, "How do you recommend addressing this further?" Well, we've talked about like the things that need to be done, but how do you address that? You said that you can set boundaries, but that's a little bit different.
I think
in
the-
terms of this is about saying, I feel like I'm always a friend to you, and I feel like you're not a friend. I feel like I'm checking in about your life and how and really invested in how you're doing, and I feel like you're not coming back to me. I think earlier I kind of slightly addressed. I think the first thing, take inventory and say how much of the culture of this relationship is on me. Like
Yeah.
I entered into this because I wanted to be a helper to someone and fix them.
Yeah.
And then I end up presenting them for not having anything to offer me. So take personal inventory. What did I bring to this? How much am I to blame for
I don't
being in
think
this
I don't think
situation?
it's a accounting. You can't keep score like that.
No,
of
no,
like
no.
How
but
much you
should
bring to
say,
it.
But you should say, do I tend to seek out, whether it's relationships or friendships, where I'm the nurturer, I'm the one fixing the problems, and then
you
I
have the same
resent them
role.
for not being a fixer for me.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you kind of seek those out.
But what I'm saying is, I think the number one thing that he can do is look at himself, put all those people on silence for a while, and don't reach out, and just get some time alone and figure out like what's important, who is reaching out, look around and see what people are in your life. And if there are people, like I said to you that one time, that you think are important to you, address it to them, and if they respond positively, then it's great. If they don't, then you know to move on and
or recategorize the friendship.
Recategorize a friendship.
I think
done
Nick
that.
is. I think you said something that I think Nick could potentially relate to. Is that you also might be putting too many relationships on your plate, and you're like, hey, all these relationships matter, and it's like, why don't you sit back? Because realistically, you'd be so if someone goes, well, I'm friends with 100 people, and you go, or do you have these real, actual meaning relationships with just 3 people? I think people go, yeah, but just 3, and you go, you don't need 100 people to be friends with.
I bet if you go back in Nick's childhood, he was servicing a ton of people at a young age. Probably his parents.
Didn't sound right. I wish that
probably his
could have been
parents
said a
that
different
needed
way.
his emotional need, put his needs before him. He was never heard,
good
and
to
so he thinks he
explain
needs to
that.
do it for everybody. That's
'Cause it did
that's
come
my
off
guess, and I think he should totally
Sexual.
just
It
wind
did
But
come
as
off
always,
sexual.
especially
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
No, it was
Am I wrong?
There was some phrasing.
You just said that as a child,
Yeah.
he probably serviced a lot of people.
I
and
know,
I
but,
just
you
didn't
know.
like that phrasing.
As always, especially with Jay Larson, we are not professionals.
Well, Jay is. That's why we had him on the show.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
I'm
hello.
not. And
I'm
never,
not either.
and never will be.
Right.
In any field.
So always look into therapy if you haven't. Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Invest in self-care and mental health.
I know this is so. I feel like this is so basic, and we say it all the time. But also, Nick, think about like what you enjoy doing, and then seek out people in those communities,
100.
because those become friendships where, at your foundation, you both like fucking bowling. I mean, Jay and I play so much golf together, and we talk so much golf, and it's fucking great because at a foundational core, it's like we both do stand up, we're funny, we're dads, we play golf, like we have a lot of things. But even if all of those things went away and it was just golf, we would still probably have a very similar relationship in terms of going, yeah, but we both connect on this one fucking thing. You don't need to connect on 1,000.
No.
Nick Thune wrote this. So I think we all need to make a phone call.
Ugh.
All right, Nick.
Just hate Nick for no reason.
We wish you well. Let us know how it goes with the F2F. Write us back, and I want to know how you're doing, and we'll fill Jay in because he probably won't listen. But we wish you well. Sincerely, your pen pals, Daniel Van Kirk,
Rory Scovel.
And Jay Larson.
Yeah.
You too.